Hey, how's it going out there, YouTube? Uh, Double D team back at it. Um, I was just thinking about what to talk about, but it kind of came easy for me. I know I always stick with what's relevant in the world right now, and as you could tell, I don't know if I mean, hopefully you could tell if you're not living, off the radar completely. That there's a lot of mass shootings, or what is what you classified as mass shootings. I believe it's four or more murder victims counts as a mass shooting. So there's been a lot of mass shootings here in the United States, and particularly on the West Coast. Here in California. If you want to hone in on the geographical location where I'm at, I live right in the middle part of California, like I said before. Like 3 hours north is the Bay Area, 3 hours south is SoCal and LA in that area. Um, I just wanted to like touch on this subject because it's a very dicey subject for people. I know people in my own family, we have very, I won't say heated debates, but we have very strong debates regarding firearms and whatnot, firearm safety, mass shootings in general. Um, I just want to hear your take. I want to, see if I get any responses. My channel really hasn't caught steam yet. That might just be because I might just my channel is just very simple. I just talk about whatever comes to mind and whatnot, and I'm not promoting any sponsors. It's not that I won't, maybe my next video will be about what brands I like, or what, just things I have in my house and stuff. uh, promote a little brand out there, a little branding. At the end of the day, the point of this channel was hopefully I could get it off the ground and make some money. And I know YouTube wants to make money on top of that. And I know a lot of other channels that don't really promote any branding, their following kind of stagnates at a certain number, and I don't see it really grow for the most part. The people that I do see grow are the ones that have developed their channel in a very professional manner, to the point where they're able to promote brands or do a little, sponsoring or whatnot. But anyways, to the topic at hand, talk about gun violence. We'll talk about the shootings that are going on. We'll talk about my opinion on it and everything. So let's dive right in. So first and foremost, there's been quite a bit of mass shootings. First of all, there was a little town close to where I live called Goshen, California. Um, they recently had a it was a pretty horrible, horrific incident. That's what I would like to call it, because it's just a horrible situation. I mean, nobody really knows the details of it. It makes you kind of wonder, ponder what exactly was going on. But in the little town of Goshen, California, you might not heard on the news because I think only the news likes to cover certain headlines or airwaves or whatnot. But in this little town of Goshen, a family was murdered. 6 people total were killed. Nobody knows who the gunmen were. There was 2 of them. I guess there was some video footage from, I don't know if there was people's home, monitoring devices like Ring or Google or whatever apps that people, or whatever systems that people use. But I know Ring's probably the main one, and maybe Google's probably somewhere up there. I'm not really too familiar with any of the other home monitoring systems. But anyways, in this household, a grandmother was killed. The son of that lady, the father was killed. I believe it was his girlfriend, spouse, partner. She was killed as well. Um, his son, so the grandson, was killed, I believe. And and the daughter, the teenage daughter, and her baby were killed. So I mean, that's just a horrendous situation. The grandmother was in, like, I think late 60s. The father or the dad was middle 50s. The partner, the girlfriend or whatever, she was in her middle 50s. The son was 19 years old. The daughter was 16 and the baby was 10 months old. And the daughter was killed while fleeing the house after hearing gunshots. She was killed while running. The baby was killed execution style in the head. So whoever did this wanted to send a clear message. Um, for whatever particular reasons. I know there's a lot of drug activity in this area. There's been known to be cartel activity in this part of California where I live. There was another guy, a killer from I want to say the early Mart Pixley area. He got caught in Alabama, though, I believe. I mean, out of all places. But he confessed to killing like 30 people for the cartels in this area. And that early Mart Pixley area is probably around 45 minutes south of where I'm at. So there's a lot of cartel activity around here. And that those murders just sound like it's cartel related or drug related at the very least. It sounds like they were sending a message, and there might have been money involved that, people, if you do, get yourself involved in these kind of activities, this is what could occur or happen. Uh, in SoCal at Monterey Park, and I think Alhambra was a potential situation, but older, I want to say Asian um, male killed seven or but seven 11 people in Monterey Park, and they were having their Chinese New Year, the Lunar Festival. Um, Horrible situation. That kind of raises suspicions too. I mean, it just you don't see older 60-year-old people going out and killing. The people that he killed were other, were of the Asian community too. So it's particular. Monterey Park, if you're not familiar with it, it's a predominantly Asian city. Sorry for that bump. It's a predominantly Asian city. I think it's like 60-70% Asian. So it's a very big, it's a community that's pretty much Asian in demographics. And then in Half Moon Bay, 7 more people were killed. That situation, I haven't really read too much of the detail. I know that they caught the gunman, and he was an older Asian male again as well. I just feel a certain way about guns and stuff. I know other countries like Australia and I believe like the United Kingdom have banned ownership of guns outright, and they have done a buyback program to buy guns. I won't say that we need to go that far. I do think that they really need to limit who they give guns to, and a lot of people do not need to have guns um, that are like I mean, I don't see the point. If you're gonna go hunting, get a rifle, bolt action, or maybe at the most it could carry, a cartridge of, a couple rounds. You don't need to go hunting with a AR-15. You know what I mean? I wanted to touch on that. What do you call it? The Second Amendment. How people always say, "Well, it's our right to bear arms, both foreign and domestic, or whatnot." That was based on a document that was made in the late 1700s, when the people that were creating this country were in fear of being invaded by foreign countries, particularly Great Britain. Um, and their only way of mustering enough firepower to fight for independence was creating a militia of regular people that were farmers back then, regular people that worked in merchant trading business, or farmers that had their own muskets, which they also used for hunting probably, to fight these wars. We do not need this uh, in today's world. We have a standing military, plus we have reserve military. Um, if you're afraid that you want to bear arms because if your own government kills you, because that's an argument that me and my family member have. Well, we need to have firearms in case the government tries to screw us over one day and try to kill us. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's understandable. One, maybe two, you know, firearms at tops. I mean, maybe a little bit more. You don't need to have a collection of like 10 firearms. I don't believe so. If you want to have maybe like three, four, maybe five at tops, you don't need more than that. And when it says right to bear arms, it doesn't mean that you should own freaking, military grade weapons. You know what I mean? I don't see the necessity to own military grade weapons unless you're really a gun enthusiast or you're a collector or you're a dealer. I don't I don't see the need for it, but that's just me. People will probably say, "Well, you're a liberal." I'm not a liberal. I have views that might swing or sway liberal. I have views that are conservative. I'm not everybody's chopped up to be just one or the other. People are people. They are encompassed of multiple different beliefs that make that individual unique to that person, to that individual. I think it could be done. I don't think every person needs to have a firearm. I don't think people under like 30 should own a firearm. I mean, the human brain is not fully developed until their late 20s or the age of 30 essentially. If you can't even make up your mind on stuff and it's not fully developed, your brain, your maturity is not fully developed yet, there is no need for you to own a firearm, um, if you respect a firearm and if you're taught the proper way of holding a firearm, of wielding a firearm, that's different. I think they should require a psychological check, a psych eval when you purchase a firearm. Is this person, because a background check's not enough. There's psychopaths that have that or sociopaths, I should say, that have flew under the radar all these years and they've never got in trouble. It doesn't mean that they're psychologically capable of understanding the importance of human life or owning a firearm. They shouldn't own a firearm. If you can't pass a psych eval, which states that you're clinically sane and you understand the importance of a firearm, and then take a firearm safety course on top of that, um, I just don't see that. I don't see the need to give these kind of people a firearm. I mean, I look at a prime example is Kyle Rittenhouse a couple years ago. He was 18 years old with a I don't know what he had. It looked like an AR-15 style rifle. And he was what 30, 45 minutes away from where he lived. There was no need for him to be there at his age, wielding such firepower and not understanding the severity of his actions. Yes, I know that those people attacked him, um, but he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Or he shouldn't have been there unattended. You know what I mean? His family. I mean, I know if that was my son, I would have been like, hey, where are you going? Why are you taking a firearm? And what is your MO? What's your motive? If you're gonna go with somebody that you know, if he would have been with somebody that he knew and they were going to stay with him and actually supervise him, that would have been one thing. But this kid was running around. You seen him in the video. Yes, he got attacked, but he was running around in the middle of the chaos with a firearm. You know, just like a deer in headlights. So I know that this is a controversial topic, and people have their opinions on owning a firearm rights, right to bear arms, mental health, mass murders. I mean, there's so many different facets to this that you could plug in and try to tackle this, but it's such a controversial topic. At the end of the day, people are losing their lives for meaningless acts of just insanity, and I just am I it sucks. I'm sorry for the families that have had to suffer, and hopefully, the world could change with this next generation. I know it's unfortunate, but it's going to have to be up to them. With that being said, thank you for listening, and take care.